These are probably the worst Colourpop products. Period. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be talking about Colourpop's Lucky Penny collection. I did get sent everything in PR so I can show everything to you today. So if you guys are interested in hearing my thoughts on the collection, seeing swatches, comparisons, and of course my 3 looks, then please continue watching. Okay, so to start off, let's break down the collection. This collection is actually not too big. So we first up have the 9-pan eyeshadow palette called Lucky Penny, of course. This is $14 US and it does come in the plastic packaging with the mirror inside. Next up we have 3 duo sets that come with 1 blush stick and 1 light stick in each, and these are $16 US each. And then lastly in the collection we just have the 3 Luxe Velvet Liquid Lipsticks, and these are $8 US if you want to buy them individually, but if you want to get all 3 and buy it in a set, it is $22 US, and then the entire collection, if you want to get everything, is $75 US. And if you guys would like to purchase anything from this collection or anything else on Colourpop's website, you can use my code JUDY at checkout for 10% off. This is an affiliate code, so I do earn a small commission. If you do choose to shop with this at no cost to you, you save 10% off, of course, but I do earn a small commission from this. But with that being said, let's talk about the first item in the collection, and of course we have to talk about the eyeshadow palette first because it is the Lucky Penny palette, which the entire collection is named after this. So this is what the outer packaging looks like. It has the 4-leaf clover on the cover, and like I mentioned earlier, it is in the plastic packaging, so you do have a mirror inside. And in this palette you'll receive 5 mattes and 4 metallics. This palette I would describe to be the ultimate 9-pan fall bronzy rich palette. I absolutely love these tones, and I've actually been playing with this palette quite a lot other than my 3 looks that I filmed. It's been on my vanity table, and I feel like I've been gravitating towards some of these transition shadows just to wash all over my lid on some days. So I've been actually really enjoying this, and I knew when I saw it I was going to love it because I love warm tones. This is a warm tone palette, so it really does make a lot of sense. It's nothing so special. There's not a shade in here that I'm like screaming that's like, oh my gosh, you need this. But I do think it's a really good palette. It performs well, and what I really like about this palette the most is that this is a little bit deeper than some of their like other warm tone palettes. Like if we're comparing it to Nude Mood, for example, this one does run a little bit deeper. Even with like the lighter transition shadows, it is a little bit deeper than most. Then we have the medium tones, and then we have the dark brown on the corner here, and then even with the metallics, they're very bronzy, and I would say in the mid-tone they're not very light. So with that being said, if I could like add anything to this palette or change anything, I personally would have taken out this shade Shiny Objects and maybe replaced it with like a lighter gold champagne, because I feel like there wasn't an inner corner highlight that I could use from this palette on me, because everything's a little bit too dark as an inner corner highlight. But with that being said, it's not a big deal. I just went in with my highlighter, used that to highlight my inner corners. Not a problem. But if we're just speaking about this palette like on its own and is it going to give me every single purpose, I just felt like I was missing an inner corner highlight. Not a deal breaker, just wanted to mention that. But I do think the depth of this palette is really amazing, because sometimes with some of Colourpop's other palettes, they would include these like really light shadows, and they would include like a couple of them, and even on someone like me who's a light to medium skin tone, those just blend into my skin and I have no purpose for them. And the tones are absolutely stunning. I think it's perfect for those of you guys that are experiencing fall and winter right now, because it's so bronzy and rich, and I really do love the tones in here. I really enjoyed it. I don't think it's something that you must have, but if you're curious about it, I personally would recommend it, because I think it's a really great like everyday warm tone eyeshadow palette. So I'm gonna go ahead and put up some palette comparisons for you guys and compare it to some other warm tone palettes that Colourpop right now has to offer. One of my favorite ones is Nude Mood, and if you'd ask me which one I would prefer, Lucky Penny or Nude Mood, personally for my preference I would still go for Nude Mood. Not saying that Lucky Penny isn't good, but I would still say Nude Mood is probably like my favorite still. But here are some comparisons for you guys to see. And next in the collection, we have these little light and a blush stick duo sets. So you can't buy these individually, but honestly, it does not matter because I would not recommend these at all. I'm just gonna say this now. Anytime in the future, if Colourpop comes out with a blush stick or a light stick and they send it to me in PR, I'm just not going to review it. I don't even want to open it. I don't even want to try it. I'm just gonna save it for a future giveaway or pass it on to a friend who might like it, because for me personally, I just can't get these to work. And these are probably the worst Colourpop products, period. I tried every method. I tried brush, my fingers, my sponge, just like nothing works, because these blush sticks, they will pick up my foundation underneath and then my cheeks will just look blotchy, it will look patchy. It's just not a good combo. And the light sticks are okay, but they're not enjoyable to use either. Like, it's just not my kind of product. So I can see why Colourpop keeps coming out with these, because they are pretty hot right now. Cream is a really popular formulation, but honestly, these are not good. Colourpop really should just discontinue these. And I know that sounds so harsh, but like when I applied it and it got so patchy, I just felt so like insecure, because for me, the way I do my makeup, blush is one of the last steps I do, and like I love my skin, I love my eyes and everything. It's like a good makeup day and then I use this blush stick and it ruins everything, you know? Like, it's just not a good formula. I'd rather just not, you know. So unfortunately, I couldn't use everything on my cheeks today. I think I used the lightest one out of all of them. So with these three duos, you have like a light, medium, and deep. A Pretty Penny is the lightest, and then we have my 2 Cents, which is the medium tone, and then a Good and Copper is the darker one. But I just can't recommend these. Like, oh, my cheeks just looked so bad that day. It looked so bad. Like, I'm sorry. I try not to be so harsh. I try to like look at from both perspectives, and like maybe I don't like it, but maybe someone else will like it. But honestly, like, no one is gonna like a patchy blush, right? Like, no one. I wish Colourpop would come out with more pressed blushes and pressed highlighters. Like, I don't even know when the last time they did pressed highlighters. It's been a while from them, so I wish they would come out with that, because the sad thing about these is that the shades are really, really pretty. I really like the shades. But then onto the Luxe Velvet Liquid Lipsticks. You guys know how much I love this formula. One of my favorites, one of my most worn formulas. So formula wise, these are amazing. Would recommend. It just comes down to your personal preference on what shades you like on yourself. So again, with the 3 lip colors, it comes in like a light, medium, and then a dark. So the first shade is called Penny Pincher, which is like a mauve pink. And then the middle shade is Tried and True. Absolutely love this shade. And then the last shade is called On a Roll, which is like a muted red. I would say that this mauve shade, Penny Pincher, is a little odd for this collection. I feel like it didn't really complement the looks as much. Like, I would see this lip color in a collection maybe like Blush Crush or Making Mauves. Something a little bit more neutral or cooler tone, not something so warm and rich. So it's a pretty color, but in this collection, I personally didn't think it really matched. Tried and True is going into my top drawer. Like, this shade is so pretty. It's my kind of lip color. And then On a Roll is really nice as well. It's a nice muted red. I think I might keep this in my top drawer for a little bit because I've been enjoying red lip colors a lot recently. So I like all these shades. It's just depending on you. What I would have loved if they took out this like mauve shade and replaced it with a brown. So I'm actually wearing a brown liquid lipstick from Kaleidos. This one is called Mahogany. It's their Cloud Lab lip glaze. If they did like these 3 colors, like a brown, Tried and True, On a Roll, that would have been such a good lip set to purchase. Obviously the lip set is still pretty, like this mauve shade. Like, you could obviously use this for other looks and everything, but how pretty would this set be? Like with the brown? And I don't think they have like a really chocolatey brown in the Luxe Velvet Liquid Lipstick family. I could be wrong. I obviously don't have every single shade they have to offer, but from what I've seen, I don't think they have like a true just like chocolate brown, and that would have been such a good opportunity to add that in, because look how nicely it complements this eyeshadow palette. Like, we just need a good chocolate brown. So that is everything in the Lucky Penny collection. Honestly, I do think this collection was really well done. I like how it's a little bit smaller. If anything, it was just the blush and light sticks. The shades are pretty, it's just the formula was not my favorite. Couldn't get that to work on me. If they changed that to a pressed blush, pressed highlighters, or super shock blush and highlighters, I would have loved this collection so much, and it would have been such a solid collection because it's so beautiful. I just love these tones, so of course I think that. So with that being said and the review being done, we can move into the 3 looks, and I hope you guys will enjoy them. So hopping into the first look, I'm going to start off with the shade Like New. This is going to be our base color. So I'm going to focus this onto the lid space first, just packing on the shadow, and then I'll slowly blend that up into my crease. I'm not going to take it too high up, but I still want some of that shadow into my crease. This is a really nice mid-tone warm chocolate brown shade. It is the perfect fall transitional shadow. Also going to take that onto our lower lash line as well, just sweeping that from the outer corner right to the inner corner, just getting that base color going all over. And next, going into the shade Bouillon, I'm gonna take this on an angle brush and start creating my wing. I'm gonna be creating sort of like a smoky wing, so we can go a little thick with this first layer. We're gonna start off with this deep brown. It has sort of like a red underbase to it as well, so just using that as a guide to create that smoky wing. I will go in with the pencil brush to smoke that out, and I'll also take this into the inner third of my eye, sort of where my crease folds a little bit there. Next, I'm going to go into the shade Making Sense, and I'm going to apply this to the center of my eyes. I'm going to take a little bit of this and apply it to the eyes because I just sort of want a sheen all over the lids. I don't want something so metallic and foiled. So you could wet your brush and go in with this shade and do so, but I just wanted a little bit of satin sheen on the eyes just to create more dimension. So next, I'm going into the shade Shining Objects. I'm going to use this to highlight my inner corners. It's a little dark on me to be an inner corner highlight, but it is the lightest metallic in the palette, and it has a really pretty like true tangerine coppery underbase to it, and it's very pretty. It suits the eye look really well. But now I'm going to go ahead and take my brown liquid liner and create a very thin wing, because then I'll go in with a black eyeshadow mixed with the dark brown in the palette Bouillon to smoke that wing out, and then we'll sort of start getting this depth of a smoky wing. So close to the lash line, it's more darker, and then it'll slowly fade out, and I love a smoky wing. I feel like it suits the fall time really well. I will also take a dark brown eyeliner into my waterline. This one is from Ardency, and then just popping on my false lashes. Today I'm wearing Fairy Dust from Doe Lashes. And then onto my cheeks, I took the Good and Copper set, and I took the blush stick in the shade Got Change and applied this as my blush. This time I used a brush, and I actually quite like applying the blush stick with a brush. I feel like it goes on a little bit more even, and I will say it's not like a complete matte. It does have like a satin finish to it where it has a bit of shine, but the light stick in this little set is called Happy Accident, and this one is a little bit too dark on me to use as a highlighter, but it would be really good as like an eye base on me, for example, so I'm gonna skip out on that. But for my lip color, I went with the Luxe Velvet Liquid Lipstick in the shade Tried and True, and this shade is probably going to be my tried and true because it's such a beautiful sort of almost rosy terracotta shade. And this, you guys, is the first look completed. We have a super warm, rich, monochromatic brown terracotta look. I'm obsessed. I love this. You guys know how much I love warm tones, so this look is just up my alley. I love how the eyes look very sultry and so fall appropriate. I really like how it turned out, and I hope you guys like it too. Alright, so now onto the second look. I'm gonna start off with the shade Token. This is going to be our base slash transition color. So I'm actually gonna focus this onto my lids first, and then I'll slowly blend that up into my crease and towards my brow bone. I sort of want this like a gradient effect. So just using windshield wiping motions to get this blended out. I will also take this onto my lower lash line as well. It's a really great, warm, rich, transitional brown. Next, I'm going into the shade Coin, and I'm going to focus this at the outer corners of my eyes. You can see I'm stamping on the product first, and then I'll slowly blend that out using more circular motions, but we want the main focus of this shadow at the outer corners. And repeating the same steps, just taking that onto the lower lash line, but only focusing it at the outer third. And then taking the shade Bullion, I'm going to focus this again at the outer corners, doing exactly the same thing, just taking this on a smaller brush so we can get a more precise definition, and also just taking that onto our lower lash line as well. And now going into the shade Copperhead, I'm going to focus this at the inner third of my eyes for that metallic shadow. This is a really beautiful coppery red metallic, and I think it suits the eye look really well. I mean, this whole palette is very cohesive. I'm also just going to take my highlighter. This one is from Dose of Colors in the shade Fuego to highlight my inner corners. I just felt like there wasn't an inner corner highlight in this palette, and I feel like this look just needed an inner corner highlight, so you can just take whatever you have in your collection. And now taking my brown liquid liner, I'm going to use this to create my wing like usual, and then I'll go in with a bit of a bullion and a bit of black eyeshadow just to smudge and smoke my wing out. I like to use an angle brush to get really precise with this. I'm also taking the e.l.f. Cosmetics No Budge eyeshadow stick into my bottom waterline in Champagne Crystals, just to brighten up the eye look. And then lastly, popping on my false lashes. Today I'm wearing the Good Karma Lash from House of Lashes. And now we move on to the cheeks, and this part was just a huge fail. So I went in with a Pretty Penny Duo, and I took the blush stick in the shade Cash In, and I tried to use my brush like I did for the first look, and I felt like that worked quite well in the first look, but okay, today was just not it. You can see it on my face. It literally picked up my foundation underneath, and it was just so blotchy, and I just couldn't do it. So I went in with a different blush. This one's actually from Colourpop as well, but it's the shade Kiss and Tell, and this is a powder blush. I can trust this, so I just went over top that and try to revive my cheeks back, because that was just looking extremely patchy. So I didn't even want to try the light stick in this set because I didn't want to risk ruining my cheeks again, so I just skipped over that. But for my lip color, I went in with the Luxe liquid lipstick in the shade Penny Pincher. And this, you guys, is the second look completed. I'm really happy with how the final look turned out. I know there was a little bit of struggle with my blush, but I really like how the eye look turned out. Something very warm, up my alley. I love it. Although this lip color isn't something I typically would pair with such a warm eye look, I still think it's quite flattering. I do like how the look turned out, and I hope you guys like it too. Alright, so now onto the final look. I'm going to start off with the shade Token. This is going to be our transition shadow. I'm working that onto my lids first to get the pigmentation there, and then I'll slowly blend that up into my crease and towards my brow bone, just getting a wash of color all over the lid space. And then we're also going to take this onto our lower lash line as well. I'm just going to sweep that from the outer corner right to the inner corner. Next, going into the shade Coin, I'm going to focus this at the outer corners of my eyes first, just stamping that on using circular motions to get that blended out and get that depth going. And then I'm also going to take that on a pencil brush into the inner third of my eyes, because we are going to do sort of like a subtle halo eye for this final look. But I'm also going to take Coin onto my lower lash line as well. This time I'm taking it on a defining brush and pressing that up against my waterline. And next, going into the shade Blue bouillon. I'm gonna take this at the outer corners and also into the inner third of my eyes as well, just emphasizing that halo-eyed technique. But with this darker shade, I'm gonna focus it a little bit lower and more on my lid space rather than like blowing it out. But this is going to be a necessary step for that dimensional gradient look. But we're also gonna take the same shadow onto our lower lash line as well, and again just taking that on a defining brush. And now going into the shade Favor, I'm going to apply this to the center of my eyes. Favor is more of like a medium toned bronzy gold, so for a halo eye typically I would use something a little bit lighter so it could stand out more. So that's why I'm saying it's more of like a subtle halo eye, because we're using more of like a medium toned metallic. I still think it's very beautiful and it really does highlight that bronziness of this metallic shadow. But now I'm going to go ahead and take my brown liquid liner and I'm going to use this to create my wing. I do take a bit of bouillon mixed with a matte black eyeshadow to smudge that winged liner out. I think for this look specifically, a smoky wing just looks so perfect. But I'm also going to take a dark brown eyeliner into my bottom waterline. This one is from Ardency in the shade Coffee. And then just popping on my false lashes. Today I'm wearing the Style Good Karma from House of Lashes. And then we're just going to move straight into the lips. I am skipping over the cheeks for this look, but I took the Luxe Velvet Liquid Lipstick from the collection in the shade On a Roll. I think this is a really beautiful sort of muted red. I think it fits the look perfectly. Alright you guys, so this is the final look completed. I really love how this look turned out. I think skipping over the blush and light stick for this look really makes me like this look even more, because just sticking to what I normally use on my cheeks, I feel like this look just really came together. I love the tones. I love it with my brown outfit. I'm feeling very fall in this look and I absolutely love that. Love some good old warm tone shadows, so I hope you guys like this look as well. Alright guys, so those were my 3 looks. Let me know which look out of the 3 was your favorite down below. Also, I would love to know what you guys think of this collection. Did you guys pick this up? Are you going to pick anything up? I would love to know your thoughts down below. And also, if you guys did enjoy this video and you enjoyed watching, you found it helpful, if you could give the video a thumbs up for me, I would appreciate it so much. But that does conclude today's video guys. Thank you so much for watching as always. I love you so much and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.